Second day in the row, BTC floating around 67K. Once again, we've got a couple of tokens popping off here, a little bit of popcorn effect on things like Popcat, that absolute banger. And guys, today I'm actually talking about a couple of narratives that are interesting for you guys. I think we've got some banger setups on a few narratives that we haven't been paying enough attention to. So a lot to talk about here today. I've also got a special guest for you. So tons happening here. Let's get right into it. And remember, as always, hit that like button, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. The like bouncer is here, okay? And we've got a very special guest as well. Gabbie is in the house, and we're going to bring her on. She's a top trader, and we're going to be talking about BTC. She's got a couple of setups that she's in now. I believe she's short SOL at the moment, but there's a couple of longs that she is loading up for us. So something to look forward to for the rest of the show. So make sure you're hitting those likes, because we're only letting her out her cage when the likes bouncer is happy. So make sure they are coming in. So Banter Bubbles, interesting vibe here. I see Uni got an upbid listing, so that thing absolutely smoked it, 8% up. But I mean, who trades Uni? Why would you be in Uni? You know, so if you did catch that, well, I'm quite jealous. And well done on your 8% pump. Aptos, finally, after stopping me out, is finally going up. So that was quite pleasant to watch. And then Popcat, well, I absolutely nailed that one again. And I'm going to show you that setup at the moment, because Popcat is my thing right now. So let's get into BTC quickly and let's see what they are doing to us. So this was our level yesterday that we were looking at. No real changes here. We've been hovering around my 67K hot zone now for the last 24 hours. So nothing much to report here, other than the longer we sit in this type of region, it starts becoming a guessing game as to what is going to happen. So I like to always see a nice hard move into a zone, then a good reaction. But right now, not enjoying this little chop here on BTC at the 67K zone. So key levels that I'm watching now for later today, if they're going to give us a little stop hunt, I'm loving the 66,300. That's a hot zone for me. A little dip there, clean out some stops, then maybe send that one a little bit higher. So 66,300, eyes on that guy. Then 65,400, that's my next high conviction zone here. I've got my anchored VWAP in play. I've got my 382. I've got some horizontals. So all around looks like a decent reaction zone for us. So that is another area where I'll be looking for longs if we do get a bit of a dip into that zone. And then upside targets, well, nothing much to report here. I mean, our highs are 69.5, and until we start breaking that, okay, then we start talking about 72K and those types of things. But right now, first things first, let's see if we can actually break that high. And we're not going to get too euphoric until we see some action up there. And then just tying things up into the liquidation heat map, you can see it's a lot juicier to the downside. Look at the 66,500, nice thick yellow band there for us, anything down to 66. So that makes me, you know, it starts smelling like they might want to send it a little bit lower. And then upside, you can see it's quite a thick band here, around 68, just above 68K. So not expecting too much after we do tap that 68K zone. So just something to watch here. Any bumps here, I'm still feeling a little bit short term. We are bearish, you know, on the current situation. We've lost our trend. So still looking at something along these lines for BTC. Let's see how that plays out. These alts are just hanging on at the moment. A lot of chop in the market, and very selective as to which ones are actually pumping for us at the current moment. So our current October situation, we've got a sliding down a little bit, 5.6% up, but we're still okay. I mean, if Bitcoin starts really falling over, then it's going to be Floptober, like one of you guys was saying in the comments yesterday. But 5.6 looks okay. So far, so good. And what else have we got here? We've got 94% of Bitcoin holders currently in profit with an average buying price of 55,300. Now, yeah, I mean, we don't want to go sub 55, then we're going to get some panic sellers and things like that. But I dropped this on Twitter earlier today with a couple of charts. Maybe you guys got a piece of that. So make sure you are following me on Twitter at the Lord of Entry, and I'm dropping tons of alpha. One of them was a Popcat chart that I sort of fed to you guys today. So I mean, we're going to get to that in a second, but make sure you are following me if you want some action. There I am. And this was a cool tweet that Uncle dropped into the newsroom earlier today, and I thought this is so relevant for guys here. And especially, I know there's a lot of degens, and I mean, I'm a degen included. I mean, and look at, I mean, this savage as well, and this savage as well. I mean, we all actually degens here, but we need to maintain our composure and remember, okay, slow and steady gains. Look at the queue on the left. Get rich quick. Okay, yeah, I'm talking to the 20x guys. I'm talking to the 30x guys. Those savages.
I'm here.
Hello, Raymond.
Reporting for duty, sir.
Hello, sir.
You said
just
20x?
just remember, now I know you guys seen I trade 200x on Prime, okay? So sometimes I'm in that right-hand queue, but just a very important reminder here. If your strategy in crypto is only leverage trading, you can have some highs, but fuck me, you can have some lows. So make sure you have some kind of spot portfolio going. Make sure you are participating in airdrops. Maybe you got some margin trading and things like that. Remember, when the market starts ripping again, your spot bags do the hard yards. They grind it out for you. Your margin trades grind it out for you. And the most pleasing thing about that is you actually get to sleep at night. You don't need to stare at your phone every hour while you are busy at home, busy with the kids doing these things, because you got your spot bags and they're not stressful. So remember, just make sure you have a very balanced, what does Stephen say? I was about to comment on my 200x trades. Guys, come on. So just make sure you have a balanced game plan here, guys. And as always, make sure you are clipping profits as and when you can. And I mean, you guys seen, how many times have you seen my round trips and things like that? So make sure you guys are taking profits as you go. And then Ali Charts just reminding us, this was last night, okay? But still 53% of Bitcoin futures traders on Binance are still shorting BTC. So, I mean, we were looking at this yesterday afternoon. It was a very similar situation. We got a short-lived pump. Maybe we get another squeeze here, but most of the majority are short at the moment. So that is interesting. And then XRP. I mean, fuck, I just had to, guys. Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen says he is donating $10 million in XRP to Kamala Harris. I mean, why would he give her the shittest shitcoin in shitcoinery history? Why didn't he just buy Popcat and send her some Popcat? I mean, she'll probably do better out of that thing. And then let's see how the XRP
That's really funny, actually. That's hilarious.
But he must buy her $10 million of Popcat. I mean, it's way better. I mean, this is just going to go down. That 10 million is going to be like 6 million in a very short time. So XRP on the weekly, no response. Okay, XRP absolutely nothing. Still bearish here, under the 50-day, under the 100-day, under the 200-day MA, looking a bit bleak and miserable. I mean, these guys are getting desperate now, sending these things to the deputy president at the moment. But the S&P, nothing much to report. I mean, this thing has been super boring now for the last week or so, just kind of floating around. So nothing major there on that side. I'm still sitting in my Prime XPT long on the S&P. Remember, Prime XPT, guys, you trade crypto, we can do all that Bitcoin scalping and stuff, but don't forget, you can trade the Nasdaq here. You can trade the S&P, you can trade gold, silver, you can trade Forex as well. So it's as simple as opening one account on Prime XBT. You just send your crypto and you can split it up to the different accounts. And if you're an absolute savage, the standard leverage on some of these things is literally 200x and might even be 1,000x on things like gold and stuff like that. So just be careful with the fastest fingers there and make sure you are playing safe. But yeah, having a bit of fun here on the S&P, looking for this thing to push a little bit higher for us. Now, I wanted to talk about Bitcoin on the 3-day, and I'm glad I've got another trader here because it's always nice to get someone else's opinion. So I wanted to bring Gabbie on here and just get her thoughts on BTC on the higher time frame and just see where she's going. You know, right now, I'm keen for another opinion. So Gabbie, welcome to the stage. This is Gabbie from Lab of Crypto, and I'm going to give you her full details and her Twitter account and everything, but lovely to have you here. Welcome. And,
Thank you.
How's life trading Bitcoin at the moment?
Oh my God, it's tough. It's very tough right now. It's not even clear. I mean, last week it was like, oh my God, we're bullish. We crossed the levels, but now we're retesting the levels. And, you know, yesterday during Asia session, the massive levels were retested again. And I was like, oh my God, is that it? But then today we're seeing more weakness. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not look, I think if we look at the 3-day chart as a whole, and if you've got a chart to share, we can bring it up in a sec. But if we look at the 3-day chart as a whole, what do we know? The information in front of us is we had a major weekly level ahead of us. That is why we rejected there. That 69,500 was a massive, massive weekly level. And I think, to be fair, a little retest is more than acceptable. So we can't get that upset when we zoom out and we look at a chart like this and we say, well, it's actually not unreasonable if they dip Bitcoin to 65. It's not unreasonable if they dip it to 63. If this was a 15-minute chart, we'd be quite happy. I mean, we'd be looking for longs there. So where are you seeing Bitcoin going now on the current situation?
Yeah, I just want to touch a little bit. If you pull up my chart for 1 second.
There we go.
I'm going to be on the daily right here because I don't use the 3 daily really, but you will understand a little bit. So if you see right here, I have this major weekly level marked, right?
Yeah.
So here is where I had a crazy situation. It was the exact same thing that happened the same day with Bitcoin and with NASDAQ. So I was expecting for this level right here to the left side to be taken, so then I can take a short from here, right? But then that level was not even touched, and then just price went for the 49K. Now, so this was very significant level, obviously. So like you said, is the, what did you say? 69,400, 69,500?
69.5 was the big one for me.
Which is exactly here in the sell zone. So, we were expecting a pullback. Now, if you remember when you came on my show, I was talking a lot about this level right here. For me, the 66,600 level, that was a very, very significant level. So I'm seeing it being retested today, but price is not holding. So it's showing me weakness. So I think from now on, like, I'm accepting the fact that we're gonna see that.
What's really showing weakness is the likes. What's showing weakness is the likes.
Guys, look at our special guest. Can we welcome our special guest, please? Can we hit those likes? He's giving you proper over here. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, so basically what I really like is that we have, again, similar levels, even though we're looking at different confluences. Now from here, like you said, I want to see these lows taken. Right, I want to see these lows taken, and potentially I'm going to be looking for longs here. And if price decides to continue being weak, then I'm going to be looking for down here, which is around, what are we looking at? 65,500 levels.
Okay, cool. Well, it's nice to see we're on a similar wicket here. So looking for similar things. We're both not looking doom and gloom. Remember, if we're trading, we try to be as unemotional as possible here. So we can speculate we go 85, we can speculate we're going to 50, but the best system here is level by level, look for your zones. One of these zones could be the trigger point of a nice big trade. And if not, well, that's what TPs are for, and that's what stop losses are for as well. Okay, so Gabbie, I want to talk to you in a couple of minutes about your SOL situation. I want to know your thoughts on it and things like that. Then you've got a couple of banging setups for us. So I'm going to crack on with a little bit of my stuff here at the moment. And guys, drop some comments, make our guests feel super welcome here. And before we actually move on to some of these tokens, let me just show you. This is the Lab of Crypto, and you can give them a follow there on YouTube. And this is Gabbie, also Lab of Crypto. It's Gabbie Trades. Okay, and 2,700 followers, guys. We can do much better than that. Come on. And she's dropping important alpha here like Trump. Look at this. Sexy Trump. Okay, I mean, you don't want to miss
Trump at the Steelers. Trump at the Steelers. Yes.
Make sure you got your notifications on for Sexy Trump over there. Okay, Gabbie, I'm going to bring you on in a couple of minutes. I'm going to bang on now with some of my stuff. But if you see anything interesting out there, just jump in. Okay, and just tell us what's what. Okay, let's go with. Okay, important things we need to know. Okay, those of you sitting in altcoin positions, spot bags, margin trades, you squeaky bums, you know the story. Total 3 on the weekly still tells us we are fine. Okay, we are broken our trend. We are holding our rising trend. We've got support all the way down to 200 billion. Nothing to sweat about, nothing to panic about yet. Okay, if we start closing under those types of levels, yes, then we reassessing where we are, then we might have a different strategy as to how we're going to play. But if we look at this thing again, perfectly reasonable, have a dip to that trend, then a nice cent higher. Yes, leverage traders, you're going to sweat bullets as you do. But, the spot bag holders and things like that, we're holding our trend, we're holding our supports, 200 billion, nice little level there for us. And remember, as always, something you need to watch very closely when the market starts sweating. This is dominance on the 4 hour, and it trades very nicely. It trades beautifully, actually. And look at this thing. You can see dominance was pumping, so we had relative strength to Bitcoin. Then dominance fell over. We saw our alt started bouncing nicely. And look what's happened here. 4 hour support, very simple TA here. Horizontals, rising trend. Now we've got dominance pushing up again. So best that dominance starts pushing up when BTC is pushing up, all these altcoins start sweating again, and we start getting rinsed. Well, especially those that are sitting long at the moment. So you can see Bitcoin dominance is now climbing, and ideally what you want to look for is a nice little reaction zone. Where can this thing potentially reject? Where do we get a potential alt relief bounce if things are looking miserable out there? And the simplest way to do this for me, 58.7%. Look for that. You can get some relief there. And then about 59%, that little region as well. So that way we can, maybe start bouncing on these alts if they are sweating. Now, I haven't looked at my charts in the last 30 minutes. A lot could be happening here. And we're going to see if these setups are going to start playing out for you guys. So let's start with ETH. Okay, I really enjoyed getting stopped out on my ETH breakout trade. So we're going to go for round 2, but we're not in my entry zone just yet. Okay, and what I'm looking at here, first level, 2,590. That is my first zone. We are not there yet. Okay, so I'm waiting for this ETH situation to dip into the zone for me. 2,596 is the number, but somewhere in this region looks like a nice little zone for us. We should get some kind of reaction there. Then I've got one more level here, 2,530. And then the big dog for me is this is where we turn bearish on ETH. When we start closing under this guy, then we know we've got longs coming on ETH at 2,200 again, but we don't want to talk about that just yet. We want to hold 2,500, 2,480. That is the big one for me. That's the 618. That's the big horizontals. That's the 50-day MA. There's a lot talking to me over there. So any weakness on BTC and we start dipping to much lower levels, and you might find ETH at that type of level, could be Bitcoin, for example, at the 63K zone. And you can see that is now marked on that 3-day chart. And you can see here's our 50-day on Bitcoin. There's the 100-day. There's the 200. So that's 63. Could be an interesting one. We'll have to monitor it as we go, but we want to tie it in. Remember, these altcoins, if we're going to look for longs on these altcoins, we need to see Bitcoin on a corresponding support level, a corresponding major support zone, ideally, is what we want to see out of BTC. So ETH, no changes there yet on that guy. And then Sol, Sol's been like relative to these other tokens, Sol's been an absolute monster in the last couple of days. If you compare it to things like AVAX and GRT, some of these other trades that haven't been pumping, Sol has been holding well, and we can see there's just more bullish news on it again, and their overall DEX volume surpasses $600 billion. Okay, so things are looking good there on the Sol front, and you can see it all in the chart. I mean, this is absolute savage at the moment. And for me, we are still unlocking this 190 zone. So no changes to the big game plan here. The big game plan was any adds onto that high conviction Sol trade that I have, 157, 148. Those are the zones. I've got limit orders set here to pick up some Sol if we do get a dip in the market, looking for those to hold out if we do start dipping. But right now, you can see our interim support that we're playing with, and I'm going to show you in more detail on a lower time frame, but we're looking at about 162 as our current level that we can use for Sol. So it's no changes for Sol on the higher time frame, lower time frame. I mean, look at this, a little bit of indecision. I mean, if you look at these candles and tons of buying, tons of selling, look at these wicks on these candles. So interesting to see what the next move is going to be. I suspect a pumping Bitcoin and Sol start sending, to be fair. Thinking about 170, 180, those types of levels. But right now on the 4-hour, you can see a big zone for me. I've got my 382, I've got my anchored VWAP, I've got my horizontals, 162 hot zone. Okay, we pinged that one yesterday. Nice little area there for us. That's a big level for us. Then if we do bleed a little bit lower, we've got another banger zone here for the degens, this 157, 156.8, that type of level. That's a banger zone. So maybe just mark that on your charts as well. The degens out there, mark that level, 157, set your alarm. If we start hitting that type of zone, there could be a nice reaction from Sol in that type of area. So no changes on that front. And then I just wanted to update you guys, this radium. Wow. Do you remember we spoke about this one yesterday? What a banger. Okay, so we covered Duke yesterday. That thing is cool. Okay, that's looking good, but it's not looking like radium. I mean, this radium was an absolute banger. And look, I did say, to be fair, we could call this thing a trend break and retest. And yeah, off she goes. So 2.25 was our level there for radium. Nice little push up. And if you did take that trade, or you are sitting in radium at the moment, you are at a little resistance region here. So, maybe TP something, take something off the table, and just de-risk things a little bit. But radium looking solid. Remember, it's a nice Sol play. Okay, if Sol's showing strength, you can jump into the other plays in the ecosystem. Some of them pump a little bit harder than the main token. So radium looking good. When we do eventually break that, there will be another trade ready for you guys on radium at some point. We're going to look for something in this region over here on radium, but let it do its thing first. Let's get up over that level. Then we can start plotting where we can send this thing next. So radium, all is well. That thing is cooking for us. And then... Ray, do you ever need this, bro? Doesn't matter what they say. I think you're a great trader. A couple of days. some days you need a few stops. I mean, and some days I feel like this, bro. I don't know. Maybe we must send somebody to hug Ray.
Sometimes I need 2 or 3 of those to give me a hug like that.
After a couple of liquidations, Ray needs some hugs. But anyway, that's how I'm feeling at the moment on this ONDO position that I've been nursing. Okay, I'm nursing this ONDO position. And I wanted to talk to you guys about some RWAs today and just cover a couple of things. So top 15 real world assets. OM, okay, that's actually the market leader at the moment, this OM situation. But ONDO I've got for you today. I've got a banger set up for you on Pendle, which I think is a cooker. And then I've got an update for you on 𝗙𝗢𝗚. That's up 50% since we spoke about it on the show not too long ago. So taking a look here, here's this ONDO situation on WeX. You guys will remember I had Chaos on the show yesterday. I said I'm adding at certain levels, and that is I've added twice now on those hot zones that I spoke to you guys about with Chaos. And this trade is now still cooking. We are at $21,400 now at the moment. So added a little bit on that ONDO position. And what is my game plan? Like, how are we doing this? James, is Popcat popping again? Guys, I've got such a banger. Down she goes. Okay, we're dealing with this now. I'm getting a little bit excited. This Popcat again. Okay.
Smash
come on, Popcat. No, guys, wait. I want you to see my entry on Popcat just quickly. Hello. Okay. So ONDO, this was the zone we were looking at yesterday with Chaos, and we were dropping into this big zone, this 0.75618 double anchored VWAP, 100-day moving average, horizontals trend. We knew this was going to be a reaction zone for us. So that is what they've given us. They've given us our reaction. Okay, remember, these zones don't always tell us that's the bottom and we go to Valhalla. These zones just tell us this is where we can think rationally. This is where we can make smart decisions with our next move. And ONDO dropped into that zone. Now, considering my entry was so low on ONDO and I've got a bullish bias at the moment, naturally, I want to see this hold. Okay, I'd like to see this thing start pushing up from here, but we need to be prepared in case Bitcoin starts falling over. So ONDO right now, if you are still sitting in ONDO with me, your key support is going to be 0.749. Now, the secret here is if we start closing under this level, things get ugly. If we start closing under there, then we are tracking. Then we are tracking to 71. Then we are tracking to 69. And that's pretty much where my entry is at the moment. My average entry is 6975. Okay. So that is going to be a proper sweat out there. So I don't want to see that ideally. And for me, I'm looking for this bullish continuation, just like we've seen here. Push up, bounce, push up, bounce, push up, bounce. I'm looking for that one. My TP is 0.86. I'm still waiting for that one and waiting patiently. So I've just been adding a little bit. And my assumption here is, or my bias is that we're going to get a bounce. If we don't, you know what happens. It falls over. We get stops at entry. We make sure that we are safe. And remember the strategy, as always, guys. Keep 1 or 2 of these bangers that you think could run for a long period of time. Then if you're trading multiple other tokens, make sure you're closing some, make sure you're taking profits along the way. There's always a situation where 1 or 2 could really start ripping and you don't want to miss that boat. So as you've seen, I've done that with Sol for the last 3 weeks. That Sol thing is now cooking. I'm trying to do it with ONDO. If we can just get a nice little push here, then will be a nice little banger for us. So ONDO, that's the current plan. You lose those levels, it's turning bearish, as simple as that. And remember, guys, all these charts that you see here on my show, they get dropped in Sniper Club for you straight after the show. So Sniper Club members, you can check out the charts. Make sure you're watching the show, obviously for context, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, here is Pendle. Now, this one is interesting. And Nick Ford had a couple of comments about Pendle. It was the best performing altcoin in 2024. History repeats itself. Here's why Pendle is on track to continue its dominance throughout the year. Okay, so this is an RWA play, ties in with ONDO. Nice little narrative, guys. Remember, BlackRock and all these types of things. It's a newish narrative and a lot of interest lately. So if you want to have a read here, take a look what he's had to say about Pendle. You guys have seen this sporadically on the show, and I do back this one. I've got spot bags of Pendle and looking for a nice little leverage play here. And the reason being, you can see we are potentially opening up our next 35% move on Pendle. So what I've prepared for you guys today is a higher time frame just to give you a picture as to where you are. And then I want to show you how I think you can snipe an entry here on Pendle and then maybe get a little bit of access into this 35% move that could potentially be coming. Okay, so first things first, what I did here, I've drafted a 1 hour setup here on Pendle. And the first thing I picked up, this thing is head and shoulders. Okay, that is looking a little bit bearish. But then I zoom out a little bit and I say, okay, where can I get a nice little hot zone here. Where can I get a hot reaction zone? So the first thing I've identified here is these horizontals in the zone here. I've got the 200-day MA. I've got a rising trend. I've got an anchored VWAP. I've got a 618. So suddenly this starts telling me this 4.46 region sounds like a hot zone. Okay, that 4.46 region starts smelling like this ONDO region where we've just got a reaction there. So we go back to this pendulum situation. You set your alarm, 4.48. Make sure you've marked that on your charts. Now, remember, this could take 3 days before you get that zone. It could pump first. A lot could be happening. So make sure that you are taking notes on these shows. Make sure you're marking your charts, setting your alarms so that you remember. Because on the day you get your entry, I might not be talking about it. And we might be talking about other tokens. So make sure you have this marked on your charts. This could be your entry. This could be your gateway, 4.46. Look for that bounce there on Pendle, and upside target for me is 6. Okay, that is what we're looking for. Simple game plan there, and easy invalidation. If this thing closes under that 200-day MA, it tells me we are closing under trend as well. We are closing under horizontals. Then we reassess where we are. We start looking much lower, and we deal with new entries at a later date. So that is the DGen play. Spot bag traders, you can see your levels. Very simple here. You've got big support 4.45. You've got a nice level 4.2, and you've got major support 3.86. So if you're into accumulating any weakness here, you look for buyers in these zones. As long as we are holding this rising trend, it should make its way up eventually. Now, naturally, you don't want to sit in here with a leverage position. You're going to get rinsed. Okay, it's called liquidated, and we don't want to feel that, bro. Okay, Gabbie, how's it going over there? Are you enjoying the entertainment?
Oh yeah, I love the energy. It's great. I want to come back. I want my shows to be that energizing. But,
okay, well,
yeah.
well, hang around. Okay, stick around, because now I'm talking about 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗡 quickly. This is another RWA play for you guys. Do you follow narratives, or do you mainly chart? Are you just charting and trading the charts, or do you follow fundamentals and things?
Me, I mainly chart. Lady of Crypto is the one that follows on the fundamental side.
Okay. So yeah, you are pure TA. Okay, so, well, look, part of the narrative here on RWAs, ONDO's a nice play, Pendle's a nice play, and 𝗙𝗢𝗟, I've brought you guys a couple of times. If you want to know a bit about 𝗙𝗢𝗟, there's a little bit of information there for you guys. And look, a 50% move. Okay, this is a spot play. This is more a longer term hold. This is not a DGen play for us, but we've had about a 50% move since we spoke about the 𝗙𝗢𝗟, and it looks like things are starting to look interesting here. So 𝗙𝗢𝗟's now holding, retested the 200-day moving average. So that is giving us a little bit of support here that we can work with. And I just wanted to mark out a couple new levels for anybody sitting in 𝗙𝗢𝗟 if you are interested in where this thing could be going. And you can see you've got major support now. You've got your 200-day and you've got a massive 382 fib pool. That's a macro fib pool. That's a big number there for me at 0.15. So you're going to be watching 0.15 as your main support. Upside target, I would expect them to come and test these highs again. So this 198. And then eventually, if we do continue in this bullish manner, then I'm looking at this wick getting filled in this type of region. So our target there on 𝗙𝗢𝗟 is around 26 that we are looking at. And from these lows of the 200-day, that's about another 70% potentially there for you guys. So maybe a nice one to have in your bags. And RWA narrative play, my favorite trading play is always ONDO, but then Pendle, great spot bag, and 𝗙𝗢𝗟 could be a nice play. Now, there's tons of RWAs. Okay, you also get Relio, you get all these other ones. And but this is what I've selected for you guys today. Gabbie, how's your meme coin game?
Oh, my meme coin game? It's seasonal at the moment.
But it's meme season. It's meme season at the moment. Do you trade any?
Yeah.
Do you trade any of them?
Yeah, I do actually. I do. To be honest, I'm scared a little bit of trading them because, they're a little bit too volatile, but I do trade them. For example, I was looking at Baked, I think not long ago, and then I was expecting a pullback on Baked. It happened, so then it was perfect for entries. I don't really have a favorite in terms of the meme
I'll give
coins,
you two.
to be honest.
You need one meme coin in your life. You need one. Popcat. That's all you need.
Popcat?
Popcat.
Yes.
That's all you need.
What about Mog?
Mog, I don't trade Mog, but it's a nice one. But you only need one. You only need one banger. So we've got a guy in Sniper Club. He only trades whiff. He won the ZoomX competition only trading whiff. Okay, and sometimes you just need one banger. So I think I found.
I'm going to tell you. I'm gonna tell you a little story about me, okay? So the first time I got into memes, I really liked 𝗕𝗬𝗓, and then no one was into 𝗕𝗬𝗓. So then I went and I bought the wrong 𝗕𝗬𝗓. So instead of 𝗕𝗬𝗓, I bought empty 𝗕𝗬𝗓. And then the meme coin went crazy, and I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. And then I wasn't.
Look, it wouldn't be the first story like that. It happens to a lot of people. But guys, you know the drill about memes. This is this 𝗦𝗏𝗏 guy. He's like rose to fame with his meme views and things like that. And he's just reinforcing our meme situation. Now, he's the one who came up with the super cycle, or somebody came up with the super cycle. But basically, he's saying meme coins going to 5 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion is not a crazy prediction. I mean, it's insanity, but yeah, he doesn't seem to think it's such a big deal, but he seems to be the man that people are listening to at the moment. Him and Ansem, people like to listen to them regarding memes, and that thing is cooking, but maybe you guys should listen to me regarding PopCat. Yes. Okay, I think it's important because I'm absolutely nailing this thing at the moment. And I dropped it on Twitter again today, guys, at the Lord of Entry. Make sure you are following me. And I dropped a little comment here on PopCat, and obviously trying to trade a couple of bigger things here. So PopCat, you can see bigger picture. We are breaking a downtrend. Now, there's a couple of things at play here. We can see major horizontals ahead, so we don't want to get too excited, but this is a good start here for PopCat. All-time highs around the corner. All-time highs are 1.57. We're breaking a trend now. Let's see what happens when we get that rejection. Let's see if we start sending PopCat on the daily. But so far, so good. Nice little push there. And another little banger entry on PopCat. Entry is 1.28. That we've got cooking here at the moment. Wow. Raymond.
That's pretty good.
I want to show you. I want to show you this banger. And here is PopCat on the 15 minutes that I've mapped out. And I showed you guys this setup yesterday as well. And something interesting that's been coming into play a lot is this anchored VWAP. Let's just see where the date was. I just want to see where I pulled this one from. Just want to make sure it's the right one. You guys can use this one, obviously. Okay, October lows. My October lows. Okay, this thing's been an absolute banger. And you can see what's happened here. I just want to give you an example. Look at this. We've got resistance. We eventually broke it. Support. What happened? Resistance, support yesterday. Bang, off that anchored VWAP. Okay, so something nice to have. A nice little weapon on your charts if you want a piece of that. And nice little lows there. So a little double bottom on PopCat. Now, I was ideally looking for yesterday. We were looking for this 1.26 for that double bottom play, but they dropped it early on this major VWAP here. So a big send there on PopCat. And then I saw 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 talking about PopCat today, so that might have given it a little bit more of a push, and now things are looking good. So daily time frame, nice mover. Things are looking like we've got a breakout. Now, how do we snag our next entry? How do we get a little piece of this thing if it's going to continue? So the first thing you're doing is you're taking your fibs from the lows to the highs. We want to bang it up there, and we want to look for a hot zone, and immediately you can see a hot zone here, 1.39. We've got our anchored VWAP. I've got a 382. I've got some horizontals in play. And you can see this is a zone here for us. We can pay attention to some of these horizontals, and a nice little banger zone here on PopCat. So if we do get a little bleed down, 1.39. Now, naturally, we don't want to lose that. If we start losing that, then it gets ugly again. Okay, then we're visiting another set of levels. But right now, 1.39 for me, that is probably your safest play on PopCat there for you. If you are trying to jump into PopCat now, there's a little bit or an element of risk here, and I'll just show you what it is. If you're jumping in here and this thing falls over, you're looking at least 4.5%. If it goes to the next zone, you're looking at 7%. So high probability of rinsing. Okay, do you ever get rinsed, Gabbie?
Oh, I get rinsed a lot of the times. Last time I got rinsed was with Reef, and you know that.
Oh, that was beautiful. Guys, so that day that Reef fell over, I actually spoke about it on my show, and then I went on to Gabbie's show, and she was the day before, they were talking TA, and they gave a long on Reef, but then the Reef project owners rugged that thing like but that is why we use stop losses. But anyway, they basically ended Reef. I think it was a 90% dump or something.
Yeah. It was insane. It was so ugly.
It's crypto. It's so crypto, though. So, guys, remember, I mean, and these types of situations, when you get rinsed, if you're not using stops, you can get rinsed. This is crypto. Okay, so I could be trading PopCat today, and somebody could rug this thing, and we could be absolutely wrecked here. So make sure when you are trading, guys, please make sure you're using stops all over the place. And remember, there's no such thing as a perfect hit rate in trading. Sometimes we get stopped out 3-4 times in a row before you hit your banger, remember. And you're never going to get a 100% hit rate. Well, it's unlikely unless you Ray. Maybe Ray hits a 100% hit rate and then sometimes gets rinsed. But okay, so PopCat, off she goes. And I have now, guys, a very important announcement here, guys. The link was wrong for my 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗓 competition, okay? And this is why we've been struggling at the moment. So there's a really amazing 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗓 competition happening now. It's exclusively for me. It's exclusively for signups to my link in the show description. I've got my own team. We now have a prize pool for you guys. The top 10 traders are going to win money. Okay, the top 10 traders, I'm going to show you the details there now. So that is now active. There's a link in the description, 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗓. There's no KYC. If you're in the States, you probably just need a browser and you can access it. But anyone can participate here. Just make sure you're signed up in the link. And you only need $150. And it's a P&L competition. So I've taken a PopCat trade and I put $150 into this 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗓 account. I've taken a PopCat trade and looking for this thing to start pushing higher. So we are on the board now in the competition, but I just want to point this out to you. $3,500 prize pool. Okay, here's the top 7. You can see their rewards: 650, 500, 375, 250, 200, 200. So the more people that join, they've committed to making a bigger prize pool for us as well. So the more people that are joining the 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗓, signing up to the comp and trading in this competition, the prize pool is going to grow for you guys. So you're all going to benefit here. The top 10 traders in this thing are going to win money. Sniper Paul, who was only trading with, he won the 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗓 last time. He won $1,000 for winning that competition. He's back. Okay, and I've asked him specifically to post his WIF setups in the Sniper Club. So today I created the 𝗬𝗍𝗍𝗓 channel in the Sniper Club. He's going to post WIF trades for you guys specifically for that. So make sure you're in Sniper Club as well. Or if you are, pay attention to that channel and let's get involved here. Because remember, the guy won trading WIF. I mean, I'm sure he knows his way around a couple of trades now, as you can see. So join me, guys. Please, you just go into the link in the show description here. And just jump into the bottom. You know the drill now. My whole shopping list is here for you guys.
Right here.
There it is. In the comments. Jump in there, guys. Join me, please. We've got 2 weeks left on this competition. It's not going to be a long one, so let's take advantage and let's get cracking. I see it ends on... it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. Okay. Now, next banger for you guys. Another meme coin, Gabbie's favorite. This one is called Ponky. And yeah, I've been watching this one for the last 24 hours. And I just noted earlier today on the daily, looking a little bit bullish. Okay, we are pushing into quite a tight little resistance band. And just like I've shown you on a couple of others, what do we like to do? We like to see these ones consolidating under major resistance. And then we take on a bit of risk and we start looking for little breakouts and things like that, because sometimes it gives you the ticket into the next node, into the next zone. Now, remember, major resistance bands, sometimes they reject you and they send you back to zero. So just remember the risks that you are playing in at the moment. But we can see we've got consolidation under a major weekly level here for Ponky. This thing is trying to push. It's trying to squeeze up. You can see we've got higher lows getting printed here. Potentially a little pop happening on Ponky. And the first move for me is 20%. The next move that I'm looking for is probably just to take out the wicks at the high there. It could be about a 58% there for us on Ponky. Now, the last time Ponky pumped, this was in July. Let's just see the size of these moves. The last time we got some action, 115%. Okay, so if this is the start of something potentially, I'm trying to get a piece of it, okay, because that's just what it is. And here it is for you on 1 hour degen time frame. And I've broken this thing down nicely. So remember, your ticket into the next zone is a breakout play of sorts to try and trade into that next region. And here goes Ponky. Okay, so you can see what's happened here on the 1 hour. We are popping through these horizontals. Okay, nice little push here so far. And this gives us confirmed support. You can see we've broken up. We've retested the support. We retested horizontals. And now we are cooking. Okay, so big support now for Ponky. Exit plan. If this thing starts failing, candle close under 426. Candle close under 426, you can bail. Candle close under 412, you can bail. Okay, and then you lose that trend, well, then we're going back to hell. It's as simple as that. And you can see why there's a big downside here on Ponky. So we're really trying to just get this pop going, trying to get the squeeze going and see if we can participate in this ride. Now, a little bit concerning is this wick. okay? Because sometimes these guys just want to take out half the wick and then dump it. So just, if you start moving up a little bit here, just make sure you guys are safe. And your current risk that you're looking at, let's just see the size of the risk. If you're jumping in now, you're probably a bit, if you're jumping in now, you're putting yourself at 4% risk, okay? So if you're trading leverage, that's big. That's proper big risk here for you guys. So again, try and dial in on these big hot zones. Always, those are the best ones for me. The greedy entries, the 1%ers, the 2%ers, those are your safer play. If you're jumping in now, your risk exposure is 4%. So just understand that you can get rinsed here on this thing if you're trading high leverage. But what I would suggest, if you have missed this one, maybe look for that pullback then, look for that dip, retest, something along those lines. Make sure you are holding this 4-3 level. Okay, so expect some kind of action here at this wick. Make sure we are holding that type of zone there. That is what you want to see on Ponky. Okay, so that is a wrap there on Ponky. And I've got 2 setups from Gabbie. You got you've got 2, right?
Yeah, I have way more than that, but I don't want to take your show over completely. You're going to bring us 2 of your best likes, Bouncer. What's the likeage like here? What's the likeage like?
It's not appropriate.
It's not appropriate.
Only if we get appropriate likeage.
No, it's gone. Everyone's gone. You're just stuck with me, guys. Okay.
You don't even get Dylan. No Dylan. Till we get to 500 likes. Let's go, fam. There's 1,100 people here. Can we knock this up, please?
Appreciate Ray's work. Okay, he's doing the work here. Okay, so Gabbie's going to bring you guys some stuff. Okay, just make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready to push buttons. Now, I spoke to you guys about 𝗕𝗬𝗟𝗏. He's our hot researcher in Sniper Club the other day. You must follow this guy, and he's hosting a private Zoom tonight in Sniper Club, and he's talking about his 100x lab session that is going down. Now, he's doing proper work in the Sniper Club. I need to just reiterate here, this man is doing some proper work in there for you guys. And he's talking about memes, he's talking about AI, and this is just one of his regular Zooms that he does for you guys. So if you're interested here, follow him. He's Dream Bigger OX. He's dropping a lot more alpha in his Twitter account as well. And if you want a piece of that, he's there in Sniper Club doing these sessions for you guys.
What's the right way to do this? Watch Dylan's show, take the entries, make some profit, join Sniper Club, put that profit after that in your leisure. Simple.
Very simple. I mean, Raymond, I actually forgot. You put the profits in your ledger. Okay, don't forget.
Package? Is that the thin
one? It's a tiny package, guys, and I'm embarrassed to say it's also very thin. So it gets a bit awkward, but here it is. And let me show you my thin package. There it is, a very thin little ledger situation going on there. And there's a link in the description for ledgers as well for you guys. So store your wealth in that ledger. Okay, I've got one more entry for you guys, and then I'm going to bring Gabbie on and get some entries from her. And this is Injective. I've been watching this one all day on the 4-hour, and I think you can see my joy as this thing starts drifting into 20.5. This is anchored VWAP, 100-day MA, 618 horizontals, a little bit of backup on the 50-day MA, and I've also got big zone. I've also got MDX Wave Master starting to dip a little bit lower. So really what I'm waiting for here is something like this situation that we saw on the 3rd of October. We got that big dip and we printed that nice little yellow dot, giving us some kind of reversal play. I'm looking for this on Injective. So I just want to see this thing drift a little bit lower, start reversing. I'm trying to tie that in with Injective at 20.5. This type of region there, I'm looking for that reaction. So if these things start tying in together, that's where I'm looking for a bounce. 20.5 on Injective, maybe a little wick, a little bit lower down. So just make sure you're watching this thing if it does dip into that zone. You can see I've set my alarm here at 20.6. And just waiting to be pinged. Hopefully it's not while I'm sleeping. And then we can look for that reaction play on Injective. So it could be something here. It could be a short-term bounce. And you can see this thing has turned bearish. So we got our rising trend. And we could see a short-term bounce and then a rejection. And then they start sending this guy a little bit lower. So just brace for that in case they do want to play that game. But something to watch. And I see Scott likes a bit of Injective as well. Let's see. Okay, Gabbie, do we have our likes, boss?
Not yet.
He's unhappy, guys. He's unhappy, but we continue. we continue.
Oh,
We're
come
ladies
on.
and gentlemen.
I'm sure we'll get 15. I'm sure we'll get 15 as soon
We'll
as I
get
start
them.
talking.
I've handed you the reins, Gabbie. Show us your magic.
Let's go. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you quickly then two setups that I like here, because when I'm looking for trades, right, I like to see where the liquidity is on the different cryptos. And for render, I like that it has this high as a liquidity here, which is going to be one of my take profits at $8. Currently, we're trading at $5 point. What are we even trading? 5.1. So I usually trade this on the 4-hour chart. So again, why I like this is because we literally taken liquidity on the 4-hour just here, and we tap back into it. This is my buy zone, and we're clearly in a bigger buy zone, which is an order block on the 4-hour. So for me, these are confluences coming together to enter a long. I think a stop loss for here, it's going to be substantial. So I think stop loss for me will be at $4.5 and then entry at $5.1 with literally first take profit at $8. This is something I'm looking to hold, because if that zone fails, if my stop loss fails, then I'm looking for price to roll over even more and retest the 4.2 levels. Now, if we look on a 12-hour, what I like about render is that it has even more liquidity. So $10, like this is going to be my next target at $10.6 for render. Now another coin that, yeah.
So big targets, just to recap on render. So guys, a lot of you guys are degens in this watching the show, and I just want you guys to understand this is a 10% stop loss. Okay, so this is more like a spot type position. It's a higher conviction play. Okay, so anything that happens in between is a lot of noise that we're looking at. So this is a higher conviction spot type play, maybe a low margin, maybe a 3x, that type of level is what the type of risk you want to take on. But yeah, I mean, I agree. If the market stays bullish, this thing's a cooker. And render, I think it's written in the stars here, this thing's going to 8. So yeah, banging little setup there. Thank you.
Of course. Another one that I'm looking at, another coin that I'm very interested in is 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓. I think that, you know, it's you know, a project that a lot of people are, you know, not looking at, and I like to look at projects like that. It's an eco-friendly project. I like eco. I also really like that it has liquidity very much high at the $36 mark. So to be honest, that's what I care mostly about. So yeah, it's for me, it's a nice 155%. So I'm looking forward to that. Anywhere around here, I'm happy to enter, to be honest. To be precise, let's have a look. The entry is at $14.51. I'm looking for that low to be retested again, so the entry stays as it is at $14.51. The stop loss, again, it's huge. All right, you can make it smaller if you want, but I prefer to be safe on this trade. I don't like round numbers for my stop losses. So yeah, that's another banger trade that I'm looking to hold.
150%. So this is a great sort of spot type setup. Do you know anything about this one fundamentally? What are we actually buying here? If we're buying this 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓, what is this thing?
Okay, yeah. So it's basically designed to be more eco-friendly. So instead of like using a lot of energy to mine coins, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓 is like letting users farm the coins by using free space on their hard drives.
Okay, so it's actually a thing. It's not an absolute shitcoin. Okay, so
it's not a shitcoin. Yeah.
You guys need to know what you're holding. If you're holding something for 150%, this could take months to play out. It could take weeks. But as long as you know what you guys are holding, I see Make Money, Travel, Enjoy knows about it. I actually met her in Dubai. Make Money, Travel, Enjoy, and she's quite a degen as well. Okay, so that's
BTC dumping.
Are we getting rinsed?
Oh, am I hitting target on my soul short?
Oh, talk to me about soul quickly. Talk to me about soul.
Let's do it. Yeah, so soul.
Talk to me.
Yeah, I do have a soul short right now that I just went in right before your show. Very simple, right? 170 was a level for me, and I'll tell you why. Same with Bitcoin, the major level that I was talking to you about is I'm looking here at that low. that was tested once, price tried, and then it completely failed here, right? Sorry for bad drawing. But you know, this is the level that was very significant, and price just hit the ultimate lows that we had recently happen. So right now I was expecting for price to reject it again. So yeah, it's a pretty quick scalp actually. I'm targeting $161. Like you said, $162 might be a rebound, but yeah, my target is 161. I might take some profit at 162 depending, because I'm looking to buy from there as well.
Okay, so some short-term scalping going on here as well. Let's see where we are with BTC quickly. Don't want to leave you guys hanging here. Let's talk BTC. And just a quick look here at the 4 hour. Let's just see what's going on here. Don't forget our big levels that we've marked out now. So you can see this is our hot zone. But what we were saying is we've been bouncing around this area. They might want to go for that liquidity that we just looked at in that heat map. So 66,300, 65,400. Those are the hot zones that I like. You can see we've got tons of liquidity down here as well, and could be a little spicy time. So guys, make sure you are watching the big ones. Look for that entry on Injective that I've given you. That looks like a banger. Pendle could be a nice one. Ponky, maybe a retest there. Popcat, please can that thing just keep ripping. Send us to Valhalla. Gabbie, thanks for hanging out. Guys, you know where to find her now. You've got all the information, and yeah, let's see how that Chia goes. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be a banger. Thank you so much for having me. And guys, don't forget to follow our channel, Lab of Crypto, where you can see me on Monday and Wednesday every week.
Mondays and Wednesdays, guys. Okay, that's where you can find Gabbie, the DGen. And they're covering a lot of fundamentals as well. That's the lady of crypto at the Lab of Crypto. She does a lot of fundamental things for you guys. So if you guys are interested, you know what to do. Okay, good luck out there. Not out the woods yet. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, covering everything again. See you guys later.
Gabbie distracted me and I got liquidated.
You liquidated again, bro.